Hello and welcome. My name is Addison Ponder and this is my Algebra 1 class. We're going to be doing some study strategies today, visualization and group flashcards. The content standard covered today is G.GPE.5. It's proving the slope criteria for parallel and perpendicular lines. The ELD standards we're going to be addressing is speaking and collaborating. And we're focusing more on the bridging level, especially since this is high school. Okay. So these are both pre-reading strategies. And first we're going to do a vocab review and preview. So first we're going to go through each word and you're going to visualize to yourself what you think that word means. We have previously learned all these words, so just go ahead and take a few minutes to visualize and then we'll go over it together. So the first word is slope. So just think about what that means. Okay, great. So what are some things that you guys came up with? Exactly, slope, like slopes on a mountain when you're skiing, snowboarding. Yes, we did learn that slope was rise over run. So let's look at some pictures really quickly. Right, so slope, we have learned that slope is the slant of a line, the change in y over the change in x, also known as rise over run. Some of you said skiing, so this shows a little penguin skiing, snowboarding, things like that on a slope. Sometimes we think of slope like a mountain slope, a hill slope, things like that. All right, great. We're going to go to word 2. So our word 2 is parallel. So go ahead and take a second to think of some things that are parallel. All right, what are some things you came up with? Good, right? Lines that never touch. Parallel lines, they never touch. Any real life examples? Good, railroad tracks. Awesome, let's look at some pictures. Right, so parallel lines, they never touch. They're straight with each other. So here is actually some railroad tracks, kind of sandy. And here's also like those double yellow lines in the middle of the street, parallel. They will never touch. Okay, good. Word 3 is perpendicular. So take a second to think about and visualize what perpendicular means. So what do we think about perpendicular? Good. Lines that cross at a 90-degree angle, a right angle. Any real life examples? Nice. The intersection. All right, let's look at some pictures. Good, right? So we have our two lines meeting at that 90-degree angle. So these lines are perpendicular. There's a road sign, and you can see they cross at that 90-degree angle. These are perpendicular lines. Somebody had said an intersection, so yes, here's an intersection, perpendicular. Obviously only if it's a straight, two straight crossing roads. This is a cross. You can see, and these lines are also perpendicular. They meet at that 90-degree angle. And our fourth and final word, more of a phrase, linear equations. So go ahead and think to yourself what linear equations are. This may be a little bit harder if you don't remember learning it, but just think of what the word linear sounds like. So take a second. Okay, so what about you? What do you think linear equations are? Lines, right? Exactly. Linear sounds like line. So a linear equation is just a straight line. So let's see some pictures. Right? So a linear equation is just a line. Line. And we have learned about linear equations before, right? So we've learned of the different forms of linear equations. There's standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. There's also slope-intercept form, which for this lesson we're actually probably going to focus more on slope-intercept form, and that's y equals mx plus b. Does anybody remember which one of these variables represents slope? Good job. Okay. So that was us visualizing the vocab words. Now we're going to go ahead and do some group work. So split into your groups of 4 that we previously had. Okay, so each student is going to get a word. So student 1, your slope. Student 2, you are parallel. Student 3, you're perpendicular. And student 4, you are linear equation. Okay, so each of you is going to get a flashcard. On one side of the flashcard, you need to define that word. So you're going to open up your textbook and go to the glossary. If it's not in there, go to the index and find which page it's on. And you're going to write down the formal definition of that word on one side. On the other side of the flashcard, you need to draw a visual representing. And we just went over a lot of visuals. You can use some of these ones, whichever one is your favorite, or you can make up your own. That's completely fine. So once you're done with your flashcard, you're going to go ahead and present to the rest of your group the formal definition of your word and your visualization. What I want you guys to do after you're all done discussing your flashcards and your definitions and visuals is I want you to predict what you think today's lesson is going to be about using all of these words. Maybe which way can we connect them, things like that.